I forgive me. I forgive me. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. I surrender. I'm ready for my change. I'm ready for my change. I forgive me. I forgive me. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. I surrender. I'm ready for my change. I'm ready for my change. I forgive me. I forgive me. Everything that I've been holding on to, I let go. I surrender. I surrender. I'm ready for my change. 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 Okay, Lisa, it's all yours.
Thank you, John. That was so beautiful and actually what I needed to hear. I surrender. Oh man, that was beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so I just need to, I'm doing tech and talk, so here I am doing both. So, good morning and welcome to San Francisco Center for Spiritual Living's joyful celebration of spirit, where all are welcome, accepted, and loved. My name is Reverend Lisa Hamilton, and I'm here with you on the fourth Sunday of each month. Today's monthly theme is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision, and the weekly talk title is Looking Ahead. Thank you for being here with us today. So, yesterday I felt a deep sadness flood my entire being. I woke up that way. In fact, it took me hours to fall asleep the night before in the first place. And something, let's call it angels or spirit or whatever works for you, angels works for me, decided that I will now rise every morning at 6:24 a.m. And so that means I got far less than the 8 to 9 hours sleep that I require. So I woke up with tears in my eyes that would not flow. You could probably still hear it in my voice. Yesterday was pretty rough, and um, so it's all in here. And it was a river that was dammed, but feeling as if it might just burst. And why would I feel that way? Laying politics aside and not measuring political parties at all, it is a huge deal that we have the first woman vice president of the United States. And it is an even huger deal that she is the daughter of Indian and Jamaican immigrants. This shows a huge leap in consciousness for us. And I'm still holding hope in my heart to someday in my lifetime see a woman president of the United States. But I am grateful that we have come this far, and yet my sadness remained yesterday because I woke up. My sadness remained because even though I knew there was hatred in all its nasty forms, including racism and misogyny, and I have experienced some of it personally, I didn't realize how deep and how much. I've been just trying to hold it together, and just keep the faith, believe in something greater. That is what we teach. And it's a noble mission. And I know it works because it has changed my life for the better. My life is completely different because of these teachings. So I wouldn't give them back for anything. And I am human and I have feelings and I need to honor, examine, and process those feelings. This analogy won't even do it justice, but it's kind of like when you get into a home repair or a cleaning project in your home and you plan on how big it will be and you plan on how much it will cost and you figure out how much time it's going to take you to get it done. But you never see the full scope of what you're getting into until you pull everything out into the light of day. My faith has really been tested these days. I have questioned myself on whether I can get past the horror of the condition that we find ourselves in as human beings, as we consider what we have done to our brothers, sisters, our siblings, and the earth, its majestic creatures, our environment. And I found inspiration. I wept and I found inspiration anyway. I found inspiration in a few things. This rain that's coming. I know it's coming. I see it's about to rain in the area that I live in. And there's rain planned for the next week. First I cry, and then our great mother is cleansing the area around me with this much needed rain this week, and I feel so blessed by that. Sometimes it's just the little things to move forward. Sometimes it's just about placing one foot in front of the other. Getting back to simple steps. Just starting with getting out of bed in the morning. That could be a huge miracle for some of us sometimes. Getting out of bed in the morning and looking around for things to be grateful for. Because there are so many things to be grateful for all the time if we just look. Being in supportive and loving community. Here we are in this beautiful community that practices being loving. How much better can it get than that? It's beautiful. And for me yesterday, I had a list of things to do, including writing this talk. And I just couldn't get there. I just couldn't do it. And I knew that my sister and my mother were going to go on a back roads. These are these little trips they take on the off-beaten path, looking for places in nature to spend time. And I decided that I wasn't going to be productive unless I got myself out there. So I called them up and I told them that I was coming to pick them up. I took my sadness with me. I didn't let it stop me. and I didn't try to stop it. We stopped along the way and picked up a beautiful picnic lunch, and we drove through these beautiful rolling green hills dotted with cows and horses and sheep, and there were vultures and hawks, and there was a bird hidden in a tree where we stopped to have our picnic lunch that had a specific sort of song and rhythm that made us curious. So we chatted about what kind of bird we thought it might be. Something about its rhythm and its trill at the end made me relax as I meditated on the sound of this bird singing. We were in a small meadow with several pines and various trees overlooking a beautiful, huge stretch of glistening blue bay under the vast blue sky with a few fluffy white clouds, and I surrendered. I surrender. I hear John singing that right now. It's a perfect song. I surrender. And I let myself feel my feelings. But I got out of my head into my heart, into my childlike curiosity. Dr. Ernest Holmes says on page 443 of the Science of Mind textbook, Jesus tells us that the childlike mind is more receptive to the truth than the over-intellectual who demands too rational of an explanation of those truths, which must be accepted on faith alone. I came home and my condition was escalated to still not ready to write a talk, but ready to ask for treatment. I texted a dear friend who promptly texted me back that she was on it, she was praying, and she gave me a few affirmative lines to ponder. And tired from lack of sleep, I decided to trust that I would have a talk before morning. And that's essentially what my friend said to me in the text. She said, the talk is already written. So with that, I set my alarm for 6 p.m. and took a nap. I took a nap knowing that everything would work out. I just needed a reset and to take things slow, step by step. I just needed to declare that the talk is already written. And that's how we pray. We declare. And Reverend Muata, this one is for you. Ask Reverend Muata why he likes the word declaration, and he will give you a solid lesson on the art of spiritual mind treatment. Okay, so we make a declaration that the thing that we wish to manifest is already so in the mind of God. It is our knowing that and our conviction in that which produces the thing in our experience. We know with the faith of God, not the faith in God. On page 317 of the Science of Mind textbook, Dr. Ernest Holmes reminds us when Jesus explained to his disciples that they had failed to heal because of lack of faith, they protested that they did not have faith in God. Jesus explained to them that this was insufficient. They must have the faith of God. The faith of God is very different from a faith in God. The faith of God is God. And somewhere along the line of our spiritual evolution, this transition will gradually take place where we shall cease having faith in and shall have the faith of. Always in such degree as this happens, a demonstration takes place. We must believe because God is belief. The physical universe is built out of belief, faith, belief, acceptance, conviction. And speaking of faith, belief, acceptance, and conviction, which I find myself elevated to this morning by taking baby steps, getting out of bed, honoring my feelings, finding things to be grateful for, taking care of my body, getting rest, enough sleep, going out in nature, and asking for prayer, praying for myself. And there's one more thing that happened for me. There is no better example in my mind right now of faith, belief, acceptance, and conviction than this young woman, Amanda Gorman, this beautiful 22-year-old African American woman who was the youngest poet to write and recite a piece at a presidential inauguration. Amanda Gorman and her poetry inspired me so deeply. I watched her during the inauguration, and I have a transcript of the poem that I kept reading over and over again. And I think so many of us will be studying this one work for years. Her ability to state the truth of the conditions that we are experiencing in all of, let's say, realness, and be able to look forward to a courageous and beautiful possibility of the future with faith and conviction that it is already happening and done. This 22-year-old taught me nearly as much in one poem, in one powerful recitation, as my 35 years of the study of science of mind. I would like to simply end this talk called Looking Ahead with a few selections from this poem by Amanda Gorman called The Hill We Climb. And every single word of the entire poem is so powerful. So if you haven't heard or read it, please check it out. I'm just going to give a few pieces of it here. And so what I would like us to do is to go into a meditative state so we can attune with her words, with her heart, with her wisdom. And that will allow us to listen deeply to this beautiful work. I invite you to find yourself in a comfortable seated position and place your hands on your thighs, face down, palms facing down. This will bring you into an inward experience. And let your breath just be natural. Just breathe naturally. Don't try to control it. Let your eyes close, and as your eyes close, lift your gaze behind your eyelids as if looking at a distant mountain. And just breathe here for a moment. Just allow your body to breathe. Feeling your body relax, your shoulders relaxing away from your ears, sitting up nice and tall but relaxed. And just feeling the energy at the point between your eyebrows. Still gazing ahead behind your closed eyelids as if looking at a distant mountain, but feeling the energy between your eyebrows at your sixth chakra, your spiritual eye. And listen to the poem from this place of attunement. And so we lift our gazes, not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms, so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. And just breathe. Just breathing that in. Let us pray.